So you can probably surmise from what you just saw, but the announcement, news, whatever the title of this video says that I have to share with you is clearly that I'm finally moving out of this apartment. My boyfriend Taylor and I started looking for apartments a couple months ago, but really just started doing apartment tours, sorry, on my plant YouTube, so I got that on the brain. We just started doing apartment tours a couple weeks ago. We quickly kind of nailed down like a couple of buildings that we wanted to look at, and after looking at all of them, we found one that we feel like is perfect for us, and we are renting it, and we are moving in later this month, so I'm filming this in the beginning of March. I know from my YouTube schedule that this video isn't going to be going up till like the end of April or beginning of May. So by the time you're actually seeing this, I'm already gonna be moved into my apartment, which is actually kind of surreal to think about, but it's also pretty cool. But yeah, if you've been following me along on my journey of this apartment that I've lived in for the last 2.5 years, then you know, oh my God. Sorry, there's just like so much going on outside right now. I live on a very busy block, which I'm looking forward to not living on anymore. But when I first found this apartment, I was very much looking forward to moving here. It's a very different vibe than the last building I lived in. And while the vibe is perfect for me, that is the only perfect thing about this apartment. When I moved in here, I quickly discovered that this beautiful space comes with a lot of, I'm gonna call them quirks. They're not quirks, they're issues. I'm being really nice about it. Just so many problems that I did not see coming when I toured the apartment. Things like leaks when it rains. Oh my God, the leaks, it pours down. I have to fill these buckets up. Okay, it's like folded down right now, but these buckets that I use for like planting, it's a good thing I have a couple of these because they will fill up multiple inches with brown water from my ceiling. I'm not even kidding. And they're in really convenient spots, but like I've had, oh God, this is turning into a video about me complaining about my apartment, but I really do want to repot some plants. That's the goal of today. I'm gonna say that right now before I get too ahead of myself. But yeah, the leaks are not great, and then I have them fix the leaks, and the leaks just spread to new spots, and then now they're not in convenient spots anymore like they were in my hallway, but now there's like a leak right above my bed. Oh my God, it's just like absolutely not. There's been pest problems that I've had to deal with that I've never had to deal with before, like onslaught of ants and mice. Oh my God, the mice. It's just like nobody should have to live like this. On top of just so many other things, I'm not gonna just go on about it because trust me, I could talk for 20 minutes about the problems I've experienced with this apartment. If you live in Philadelphia and you're looking for an apartment and you see this apartment available on Zillow, please do not rent it. I'm begging you. Just do yourself that favor for me. In fact, I'm gonna do that favor for you by letting you know. So you're welcome. Anyway, I'm just really looking forward to this being a part of my life that is the past. And we are both, aren't you, Muffin? Aren't you looking forward to moving back into a building? So the building that we're moving to, you technically seen the apartment that we're moving into. I showed you in the beginning of this video. It is very similar to the vibe of like the apartment and the building that I used to live in. However, I really like the neighborhood. We'll talk about this stuff. I need to start repotting plants. I need to get some scissors. We're gonna repot this. I don't even know what we're gonna repot it into, but hold on. Don't know where I put my actual scissors, so we're gonna use some kitchen shears. So we're gonna repot a couple plants today, and I'm gonna do some pruning. I did like pruning in the first video that I filmed of like coming back on YouTube, and some of you really resonated with that, which like work, honestly. So I'm gonna prune some more things aesthetically because I need to. So we're gonna do that. But I'm gonna start off, I wanna pot these two Dischidia ruscifolias together. So I remember I got these from one of the growers that, or like the sellers. He was like a grower and a seller. It was kind of like I don't know the word. He was a jack of all trades. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So one of the growers and sellers that I used to work with when I worked at the plant store, before Dischidia ruscifolias were like even on the market, he found a hanging basket of this in like the back corner of the greenhouse that he worked at, and he thought I would like it, so he brought it for me, and it did not do very well under my care. I was gonna say in my home, but I'm gonna edit that to under my care. And it quickly died back to like literally nothing. So I remember I tried sticking a chunk as a mounted plant and a chunk in a pot of soil, and both of them are growing really well now. And now I'm at the point where it's like, I don't need two. I want them in the same planter. And arguably the one on the mount was doing better at first, but now the one in the soil is just kind of like, you know, doing that first year you sleep, the second year you creep, the third year you leap. And we are leaping, hunty, because we got this whole thing right here. There's new growth coming off right there, right there, right there. I'm aware you can't see very well. I have you, I mean, you're kind of close to me, but I have a lens on the camera so that it makes it look like you're further away so that you can see more, but at the same time, if I'm working with smaller plants like I am right now, you can't really see that well. So we are just working with what we got. So I want to pot these up together. So I'm gonna use my kitchen shears to remove this plant from the mount. Maybe we could even use this mount in the future. Now I'm potting on top of this plant stand. You can see it's got holes in it. You can probably barely see I have my repotting tray underneath here. So if I'm just dropping things, I'm not just making a mess on my floor, but at this point, who really cares, you know? And I think I kind of want to put this in one of these white breading planters, specifically because I don't know if they really sell them anymore, but I used to buy these breading planters from Pistol's Nursery, their website. I've never actually been to Portland. But on their website, I remember they had Dischidia ruscifolia like in one of these white planters as like their picture, and I just always loved the way it looks. So I'm like, I have a bunch of these. Actually, I have a decent amount of breading pottery right now that I'm not using, which is kind of a shame. I put a lot of plants inside the greenhouse cabinet that were planted in my breading pottery planters. So now I'm just kind of working with them and I want to use them. So we're gonna pot this guy in there. I'm gonna take it out of this moss, obviously. I'm gonna be pretty gentle because the roots are probably pretty fine on this guy, but it doesn't matter. It's a very resilient houseplant. But back to the topic of moving for, I was gonna say a quick second, but I'm sure we're gonna get back and forth with talking about houseplants and moving and just general life stuff throughout this video. Also, I have my microphone like this. So I've had this microphone set for years. I've typically used this as a mic pack and would stick my lavalier or my lapel mic, whatever people call them, in it and then just put the mic on here. I've recently figured out that that microphone sucks. So I moved on to just using this microphone, and one person commented and was not happy with the fact that I was like holding the microphone, which like, babe, do you see how I have to look if I want to clip this onto me? I look ridiculous. So you have gotten what you wanted, but I'm gonna go back to holding it whenever I can because this is ridiculous. Anyway, just kind of explaining why I have this monstrosity hooked on to the hood of my hoodie. But yeah, so the apartment that we are moving, oh, I need some shears. Why do I not have printing shears like right here? Ugh. The building that we are moving to is a very similar vibe to the last apartment, an apartment building that I lived in the sense that it's like, I don't want to call it new because it was built like 10 years ago, but like a newer building compared to the apartment that I live in now. That is not an understatement whatsoever. And, you know, I thought, I would think that an apartment like this would be more my, oh shit, I didn't realize that there's, sorry, I didn't realize that there's like a plant on here. I can just stick that right back in the pot. It is not a big deal. I thought I was just cutting off dead growth. I really learned in this space that the amenities were really nice to have, especially considering my rent is going down. We're moving into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in a newer building with all these amenities, and my rent, well, not very much, is going down. So that is awesome. I technically get to save money and have an increased style of lifestyle, upgraded lifestyle is maybe the phrase I'm looking for. God, it's so hard to think of the phrase that you need when you're sitting on camera. There's something my brain does. I'm not meant for, I don't have performance brain. I was also gonna wear a really cute like pale green shirt, and I just knew I was gonna start like visibly sweating like within 5 minutes. So I just was like, screw it, I'm just gonna wear a hoodie. But the building, I'm getting so off topic. The building has all these amenities, which I really am looking forward to, because some things that seem like they wouldn't be that difficult to have, like mail delivery, are things that I can't have at this building. Not like you can't get mail delivered here, but when I order things, it doesn't show up. And I don't even think they're getting stolen. They just don't show up. Like, I just don't know what is going on. So things as simple as not having my mail disappear, or not having the leaks, or not having the pest problems, or the noise from not just outside, but with all the things that are on my roof. And I said I wasn't gonna complain about the apartment. It is kind of like symbolic, I would say, to me, because the apartment building that we are moving to is 2 blocks away from the first apartment that I ever lived in when I moved downtown. I went to school at Temple University for 2 years, which is in North Philadelphia, and so I technically had 2 spaces that I lived in there. But after I decided to not continue that journey, I moved to downtown Philadelphia, and the apartment that I moved into then is 2 blocks away from the apartment building that we're moving into. And while I lived there 10 years ago, I remember walking by this building, which was actively being built, constructed at the time, and thinking like, oh gosh, like when I'm have an actual job one day and I'm doing well for myself, like I'm gonna live there, because I loved the neighborhood. It's like where I always aspired to moving, which is why I moved there as a young child, a very young adult. And when I lived in that neighborhood, I did not live there for honestly very long because my roommate didn't pay his rent. We're not gonna get into that, but yeah, I couldn't stay in that apartment for as long as I liked, and I had no money. That is not an exaggeration. We don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but I had literally $0, so I couldn't do anything. I was locked in my apartment all day long. I was like actively looking for a job, but I had no job experience. I was like a college dropout, even though I didn't like it. Just don't be so hard on people who just don't want to go to school anymore, you know what I mean? We're not dropouts. We just make decisions that other people don't agree with. But yeah, I get to move back into that neighborhood 10 years later, 11 years later, but in a different space, a much better space, like physically, but also, I mean like mentally, but like also physically, you know what I mean. So that just feels really good. I'm really looking forward to that. It really just does feel very symbolic. God. Perlite is so dusty. I hate it. I'm just using like an all-purpose soil mix today. Just have some standard potting mix, organic potting mix with some perlite, and then I'm adding in like a scoop of orchid bark. This orchid bark, it's Miracle Grow, so it's not very good. I do prefer other brands, but it's just what they had at my local hardware store. Oh, God. Okay. So we looked at we looked at 4 different apartment buildings. We looked at 2 new buildings, which I think are the only ones I recorded because I recorded the one that we moved into and then the other one that we looked at earlier that week. But then the week prior, we looked at 2 older buildings. And the one older building I had like a really good feeling about. It's honestly like a building I had my eye on for a while because the amenities are so great. But gosh, they like raised the rent so much since we started like looking for apartments like online in January. We didn't start actively touring places until late February. The rent went from like $3,300 to over $4,000 for like the same exact like apartment layout. And I know that apartments are cheaper in like the winter and go up for the spring and summer and like early fall and stuff because a lot of people are renting then compared to the winter. But dang, I didn't realize it was gonna be that much of a price increase. So we like toured the apartment building and then they told us the prices and we were like, oh, crap. So that one wasn't an option, but that's fine because the building that we looked at, I thought was too expensive at first, and then the prices kind of went down. And it did have like a little rent special going on, which I'm very apprehensive to. One of the other new building had like a 3-month rent special, which is so sketchy. It means that they're having trouble like renting the building if they're giving you like 3 months rent free. But if they're just doing 1 month, it's usually not that sketchy. But what I mean by sketchy is like you're gonna get those 3 months off your rent, and then your rent's gonna go down like $800 a month because of that. And then when your lease is renewed, your rent not only goes back up to what it was originally going to be, but like $200, if not more than that. So then your rent gets increased like $800 to $1,000, which is what I experienced in my last apartment building. So we get a small chunk of rent taken off our apartment, but we know once our lease gets renewed, if they raise our rent to a little bit above what it is originally on the lease, that is like perfectly doable for us. So yeah, it's good. But I do feel like the old vibe more than the new vibe. Like I like this apartment that I live in right now aesthetically better than my last apartment, and I'm definitely like it aesthetically better than the one that we're gonna be moving into, if I'm being honest. It's just everything else that comes with it I like better, so I'm just remembering that. There was one building that we looked at that was kind of like a, oh, let's see what could happen like if we don't go for a building with all the amenities and instead we go for like more premier apartment in an older building. So we found an older building that had like a penthouse apartment with a terrace, and we were like, let's check it out, because what if? The smell. Girl, the smell. I'm not like a, oh my God, it smells so bad kind of person. Like I know a lot of people who are like have like no tolerance for anything. I have a lot of tolerance. And that's how you know how bad this smell was. It was on the 25th floor, and the terrace was out on the 25th floor. The smell, I smelt it fully out on the terrace. I'm like, if you can't escape this smell, my friend was like, somebody probably died in that apartment. It sounds awful, but somebody might have. You know what? It was the whole building. It wasn't just the apartment. It was the whole building. It smelled like wet dog and trash. And I want to be so nice. And I was so nice when I was there. Girl, I would never be rude to somebody. Like, that is just not my vibe. I'm gonna talk about it here though, in a not very nice way. Yeah, but yeah, it was like, what if we got like the penthouse with the terrace and we just like lived that lifestyle? It would be a worse lifestyle than I have here, I'm being honest. Not even a remote exaggeration. Okay, so we have this Dischidia ruscifolia planted in here. I love how it's just like coming out the front of the planter. I don't love this back here. I would actually, can I like, just like judge you a little bit more? I'm going to. I want it to be like spilling fully out the front. And is it gonna look perfect at first? No, absolutely not. It's gotta settle in, its leaves gotta move back around. We just jammed two plants in the same planter that have been in different situations, like with light facing the leaves and stuff. Like one's been hanging on the wall and one's been in a pot. So it makes a little sense that it's gonna look a little disheveled right now. But this does look cute. I do love it in the white running planter. Oh, it's so cute. I have no idea where I'm gonna put it. I'm also just like trying to, the goal of repotting today is, since I am going to be moving in about a month, is like consolidating a little bit, I guess. I mean, that was at least my thought process. I don't know if that's actually what's gonna happen. I did have some Hoya. Oh wait, I forgot about our little piece. Just zhuzh it in somewhere. No one needs to know. Okay, super cute. Let's find something else. I know I do kind of want to repot this Hoya. I have another one I want to do first though. But these are not plants I'm repotting. I just did not clean up, by the way. But I do kind of want to repot this way. I feel like you can probably see my little mess down here. So yeah, we're not repotting all those. Oh, I'm so happy I'm wearing this hoodie because I am sweaty right now. It's hot over here by my windows. Like it's like 10 degrees warmer over by the windows in my apartment. And that ironically is where the sunlight is. So it happens to be where I film, so. I have this Hoya callistophylla. I've had this for years. It has done literally nothing. It's actually bloomed. That seems hard to believe. It has bloomed and it's looked ridiculous while doing so. There's actually, you can't see, but there's flowers in the pot from when it did bloom that have just fallen off inside the planter. And I hate the way it looks in this planter. So I'm like, this one's the complete opposite. Like literally the complete opposite. This one is just a gross, terracotta is not gross, but this one looks gross at this point. This is like a gross terracotta pot that just has, it's facing the wrong way. I want it to be like this planter. Do you see what I mean by they're literally the exact opposite? This is gonna take 5 seconds. The drainage hole's a little big, I guess. It's gonna take 5 seconds to repot. This Hoya's pretty. But there's just so many Hoyas that look like this now, where it used to be so impressive, and now I'm like, that's so mean. I do like it. It's just, you know. I know you know. The girls who get it, get it. This orchid bark is awful. I mean, also is my potting setup today. I don't know what I was thinking potting on this plant stand, but you know what? We're committing. I hope you can appreciate the tenacity at the very least. Okay, well this is pretty much done, I guess. I guess I could use like a little bit more soil, but you know what? I don't want to go too overboard. Okay, maybe I should because there was a huge air pocket right there. Okay, this looks really cute in here. I am realizing now that like the planter itself, like kind of, I don't really love the way that it actually looks. I might take that back. I think this does need to go in like a solid color planter. I'm gonna leave it for right now. But if I'm being really, really real with you, this venation of this plant doesn't look as good with the pattern of this planter. They're almost like mimicking each other, but like not in a good way. Convince me otherwise. But I think I do want to put it in like a more solid colored planter. You gotta live and learn, you know what I mean? You learn from experience. I don't know. So I've had this Hoya sigillatis just sitting in this pot for a while. Ooh, gosh, these, I know that new growth comes off of these. The thing is, I don't care. I literally don't care. Like, I'll be nice and leave this because it's got like leaves on it and stuff, but I'm cutting what's past it off. Oh, God, okay, sorry. I'm just not feeling, I'm not feeling that lately. Like this, pruning break for 5 seconds. It'll take 5 seconds. This Hoya Commingiana, love a Hoya Commingiana, but what the hell is this doing? This looks awful. Like we're just gonna cut, and we're not even gonna make it look that much better if I'm being honest, but like let's just cut this off. Like I hate that. That's so much better. It doesn't look great. I mean, it looks better, but like it doesn't look great. So yeah, but a little pruning break like that does wonders for the soul. And look, we're right back at it. Nothing's changed. 15 seconds later. So I do have this planter that I was thinking this would look kind of cute in. Okay, I changed my mind. It doesn't look cute in there. Crap. Okay, what can we do instead? Oh gosh. I have these two green Brunning pottery planters. This one could be kind of fun. Okay, I like that a little bit better. I don't love it, but I like it a little bit better. I would ask you what you think, but obviously I filmed this like a month and a half ago. So can't really do much there. It does take up a little too much space. I do have this terracotta, which I kind of like this one. I don't know why. It's a little different. See, I don't like any of this. Maybe we won't repot this today because you don't have to. You don't have to. It's not the rules. But we could like, ooh, actually, you know what? I think I want to jam it in here. I think I want to jam it in there. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I felt it in my gut and I'm like, I know that's not the right thing to do, but I can't deny the gut feeling. So without knocking over and breaking this super thin bowl that I, for some reason, feel the need to use for soil mixing, we're gonna fill that up, which we did. Remove as much of the soil as we deem necessary, which, because we're putting this in a decently sized planter, it's really hard to say for some reason, I'm gonna remove a lot of it. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I like this. My issue with these leaves is if they're like all inside of something, it just doesn't look good. They need to be like spilling out. So that's exactly what we're doing. I got this Hoya from Pepper's greenhouse, which is like, oh, like the place to go plant shopping. If I could pick one place and I could only go there ever again, but I made it not 2 hours away from me because that's how far away it is. I would choose peppers. Ooh. But you know what? I just know that's my answer. And the thing is though, everybody would agree. Everybody who's been to Peppers would agree. It's just like, it's it. It is the place. Okay, see, this looks so cute in here. That is, oh my gosh. I went from hating everything to being obsessed with this. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. That is so cute. It's the green on green for me. And it's also, so this is, okay. I am not an interior designer. I'm not even a plant stylist. You know what I mean? Some people would call themselves that. I'm gonna stop talking before I have anything not nice to say. This is a good example of something being correlated. God, I don't know how I'm supposed to explain this. Of like correlation gone wrong, in my opinion. Everything is in the eye of the beholder. Some of you might look at this and you might be obsessed with it, but like this leaf veining and this veiny planter, I think it just looks so bad. I don't know why. Maybe someone in the comments is like, no, let me tell you why that actually looks good. That's great for you. I'm so proud of you. So this, I think, is something being correlated and looking amazing. So this planter has the speckles on it. The leaves have the speckles on it, but the leaves are like just a little bit darker than the planter, but then the speckles on the leaves are like the same exact color of the planter, and then the speckles are even darker than the leaves. I just think, oh, this looks so good. And nobody can tell me otherwise. Nobody can tell me otherwise. It looks amazing. But speaking of Brunning pottery, I have another, I'm sorry I'm putting everything off camera, but like, that's all I have. So I have this snake plant, Sansevieria Hahnii, golden flame. Gosh, I don't know. It's something Hahnii golden. It doesn't matter. So it looks cute in this planter. I do like it, but this one has been like, just, you see it. It's just, it's coming right out. So also, it's like been getting like thrips, and it's like a snake plant with thrips. Who are you? So get out of my face. What I would like to do with this is put this little baby inside its own tiny planter. So let's first just assess the roots. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna just remove as much from it as possible. Okay, that is adorable. We can work with that. Okay, already right here, I have this adorable little planter that I made myself. Which honestly, I wouldn't say about most of the planters that I made. There's like 5 planters that I made when I did pottery that I'm like, okay, that's actually cute. I'm gonna toot my own horn. And this is one of them. Like, oh, that's gonna be so cute. I did kind of like this better in the white, but I don't have a white one. So, and this is the only one. I also, here's another one that I deem cute, but like, you can't tell me I wasn't like trying to just come for their gig with this planter. So like, let's not talk about that one. But this one, that is original and cute. I mean, it's a planter, you know, they all have like the same shape. I guess all planters are unoriginal, but it doesn't matter. Oh my God, that is so adorable. Are you kidding me? I kind of want it to be like a little bit lower, but like, it's just like not possible. Oh my God, that is so cute. I love that so much better. And it took 3 minutes. See, if I'm not yapping, I can get something done in like no time at all. This is why your managers don't want you talking to your coworkers that you're friends with at work. Like, I get it. Do I disagree? Yes, but I get it. Okay, and I feel like I've been doing this for a while now. Maybe it wasn't that, oh, I do want to do some pruning. But there's another plant that I know I need to repot, but like, it's my philodendron tortum. I genuinely don't know what I kind of want to, okay. Controversial opinion because I just said the philodendron tortum, so maybe you want to see me repot it now, but I think I'm not going to repot it because I kind of want to wait until I can get nicer planters, and I have to wait until I move to order nicer planters since I can't order things to my apartment here because they won't show up, and then I'm just going to waste a bunch of money on something that doesn't show up, and I'm tired of that and I'm not willing to do it anymore. Oh, so I'm just not going to. It's like easy as that. But there are, oops, sorry. There are 2 plants I know I want to prune. There's probably more than that, but actually, you know what? Before we do that, I'm sorry. So I have this Hoya, oh God, this Hoya ilagiorum right here, which also prune, amazing. So this happened, and it's like, I honestly, I don't know if I really want it. But I'm gonna bully myself into keeping it. Maybe I'll even, that planter that we weren't going to speak of, maybe it'll look cute in here. See, the thing is though, it doesn't look cute, and it's like, is it going to look cute in anything when it doesn't? God, I want you to convince me. I just don't think you can. I don't think you want to. You know what I mean? I don't think you want to. I've also had it for like 5+ years at this point, and it looks like this. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm like, it's my fault. Like, I'm the one who's not giving this plant the care that it requires. But I'm still like, how dare you? Do I really want to keep it? I don't want to keep it, but I just know if I throw it out in the trash, it's just like so mean. See, this has potential mounted, but I just, no, it doesn't. No, it does not. Okay. God, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna put it right back in its planter with some fresh soil, and we're just gonna pretend this never happened. And if this plant isn't in my next houseplant tour, do I even need to give you words? No. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I just like, after being an indoor gardener for 10 years now, ew. God, that's gross. I started when I was 19 or 20. 19, 20, it doesn't matter. I'm 30 now, which like, ugh, disgusting. God, I'm being so negative in this video when I'm in such a good mood. What does that say about me? I'll let you figure that out for yourself. But yeah, speaking of this vibe, I think for my next video, I'm going to do a plant purge because I need to get rid of a lot of plants. The apartment that we're moving into is technically bigger. It's 1,100 square feet. This apartment is 900 square feet, give or take some. I don't know how much I'm giving and taking. However much you're willing to take, I will give you. When we were looking at all these apartments and all of them were like over 1,000 square feet and then they feel so much smaller, I have to remember that I live in a 1-bedroom, a 1-bath with 1 walk-in closet, and everything we're looking at were 2 bedrooms with 2 baths and 2 walk-in closets, if not more closets than that. So I'm sacrificing on space. They feel smaller than my apartment now. It's weird how that is, but it is that way, but they are technically bigger. So yeah, less plants would be nice. I also, you know, just don't want to, Taylor's very respectful of the fact that I work with plants for a living, but I'm not trying to just like jam hundreds of plants down his throat. So I'm trying to like consolidate most of that to the office, which is going to be the 2nd bedroom, and then be a little bit more mindful of the way that I'm displaying plants in the living room, in the bedroom, making it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I'm no interior designer. I'm not transitioning to that style of content, but I do just want it to look more better. I know that's not the way you say it. I want it to look better. Let's say it correctly at least. I was not an English student in high school. I'm sure you can tell from my grammar. I was in the, you know what, I should just stop talking. I was not in the smart kids English class. I wasn't even in the regular level kids English class. I didn't like to read, but like I would have rather done that than been in like, no. I was gonna say like AP English. The thought of that makes me wanna gag. The thought of high school makes me wanna gag. Ugh. So gross. Okay. Am I even gonna prune today? Yeah, there's 2 plants I'm gonna prune. It'll take 5 minutes of your time. It's gonna take like 15 minutes of my time. Okay, I had to adjust the camera and you still can't really see everything, but like just bear with me. You've been bearing with me this whole video, so we're fine. But I have this Amydrium. I also got this from Peppers actually at the same time when I bought the Hoya sigillatis. This is my Amydrium medium, they call it. Silver? Gosh, of course the name's gonna be on screen. This has been growing fine for me. I hate this. I hate this, hate this, hate this, hate this. Can you even see this that I hate? I don't know, but we're getting rid of it. So there is like a piece of it that it's like, you know, first of all, this leaf looks awful. It's gonna come right off anyway because it's like dying. Could I save this? I could. I'm gonna do myself a favor and I'm gonna put it in the leaf bucket that is gonna, oh, you know what? Girlies, I would love to lie to you and tell you it's like going in the compost. It's going in the trash. I'm not here to be dishonest with you. You know what I mean? And you know what? You'll probably just put it in the trash too. So it's fine. I'm gonna stop. Any of these vines that are just coming off, I'm gonna just stop them because I dislike them. And if I dislike them, they're not gonna be in my presence because we don't have time for that. This wood stake looks so bad. I don't like plant supports anymore. I don't know why I've gotten so anti supporting your plants with anything but like a trellis, which honestly, I'm bringing the trellises with me when we move. I'm gonna try to use at least one of them because I need, you know, they work well with the Soltec aspect lights and I'm kind of required to have that in my home. So we're gonna figure that out. But this already just looks so much better. I don't love this leaf up here. It does have the little holes in it though. So I'm like, let's just relax. I also don't like these planters anymore. Everything about me is changing. I don't know what's going on with me, but this, it's ugly. So I would like to get it in a nicer planter. And then, so also in the greenhouse cabinet where I keep this guy, also on one of these horrible tomato stakes that I guess are still better than a moss pole. So I'm gonna relax. I have this Monstera subpinnata. It has 4 leaves on it and you probably can't see very well, but they are not looking too hot. And this thing was leafless for years and then just grew all of this. So I'm like, should I just cut the whole thing back? Ooh. I don't know. There's one leaf that is acceptable. So I'm thinking about keeping the acceptable leaf. I don't know though. I'm gonna cut it back to the acceptable leaf. I'm scared. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, is this like all? It's just too much, you know. I don't want this. I don't want this. Who is this doing anything for? Who is this? Oh, there's a leaf on it. Oh, but it's kind of yellow. Is there like pests on it? I don't. You know what? I just think it's like not supposed to be a houseplant. I think we're the problem. All of us who are like, oh, I love Monsteras, so I want to try out like all the Monsteras that there are, but then they're not really meant to be grown indoors, and then they end up looking like this. Whose fault is that? We're the ones who wanted to buy it anyway. Oh, this is like rotting. Okay, great. Okay, not the plant. The tomato stake is like rotting. I need to relax. I'm so sorry for my vibe in this video. It's like all over the place. Okay, so this is actually the good leaf. So I'm gonna cut this back to here, which is great because this one's attached to the wood. This, God, me like years ago, I tried to salvage this, but I'm just like, good riddance. Should I leave this one kind of crappy leaf? I don't want to, so I'm not going to. All right. I feel like I've only probably made enemies with this one, but I don't even want it. I don't even want it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. My friend gave it to me and I really appreciate that. And I try not to just get rid of plants that were like gifts. But right now, she's gotta earn her way back into my heart. Cause She's failing right now. The plant, not the friend. My friend is great. She's wonderful. But yeah, gosh, I'm so sorry for my vibe in this video. I feel like I'm filming this on a Sunday. I'm usually filming on like a work day, but I'm just like, whatever. In a good way today. I'm sure you see that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure at this point. Yeah, I will see you guys next time. I'm definitely gonna do a plant purge. Don't be alarmed if the video title is like throwing out my plants. You know, it's for the algorithm. Just let me have it, you know? Okay, bye. I'll see you next time.